Alright, so I'm going to make a quick video on how to do one of these problems here from your group work. These three, well, not this one, this is just one of the requirements. I'll go ahead and mark that off. Okay, so here I am and I'm working on my project and I have my notebook, which I borrowed that from a scholar. Thank you, you know who you are. And then I have my XY axis ready to go. And I have my information sheet. All right, and we've gone through these and then this is where we are. So I'm going to skip over the diagonal line, the horizontal line, and the vertical line. These three right here are from equations of lines. So look in your notes for equations of lines and in our Matherpiece part 1, and you can figure out how to do those. All right? So I'm going to do one of these here. Everybody seems to be having trouble with what exactly it is that I mean by these. All right, so if you are in CP, there are 5 parent functions and there are 5 requirements, which means that each parent function will go to one of these. You pick which one you want to do to each one. For y-axis reflection, do not pick the absolute value of x or x squared, because you can't tell that you've reflected them across the y-axis because they match on the across the y-axis. So like if I had the y equals absolute value of x and then I tried to switch it to reflect it, it would still just look exactly the same. So we're not going to pick that as one of our things. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to take my notebook and I'm going to look through the parent functions. All right, and I'm going to find a parent function to do this reflect across the x-axis. So if I go to my parent functions, here's my very first parent function, and it's okay to choose this one for the x-axis, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just choose the very first one for the very first one. So I'm going to do y equals the absolute value of x for this one. And then I'm going to do across the y-axis, I'm not going to do this one, so I'm going to skip down and I'm going to do y equals the square root of x for this one. And then for this one, I'm going to do y equals x squared. See? That one. Okay. And then for the fourth one, I'm going to do y equals the x cubed. And then I'm going to do the cube root of x for the fifth one. So y equals x cubed. And then y equals the cube root of x for this one. Okay? All right, now in class we took notes on what you do to the charts. So I'm going to copy those down really quickly. We have negative y, negative x, x plus or minus a number times x. Looks like dot number. Number x, okay, and then 1 over the number and then y, right? Okay, so and then we circled all these and we said that this is what you do to the xy chart. All right, so I am going to do this to absolute value of x first. All right, so now I'm going to grab my paper, my scratch paper, or well, the paper that I'm actually going to when I glue this into my notebook, and then I'm going to have on the other side. So this side's I'm going to glue this in my notebook on one side, and then my piece of paper with my work on the other side, so you can like see the work. Okay? All right, so grab this. I'm going to grab my piece of paper, which, I need to grab a piece of paper. Okay. Okay, I'm back. All right. And I got my paper, and then I am going to do the problem. So y equals absolute value of x reflected across the x-axis. So first I'm going to start with, I'm writing what the bullet is. Okay, then I'm going to start with the parent. y equals absolute value of x. And then I'm going to write my XY chart, which I'm going to look in my notebook, and I'm going to find y equals absolute value of x, and it's -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. So then I'm going to write that down. Okay. Then I'm going to change the parent into a kid, which we haven't called a kid before, but anyway, it's just, I'm going to distinguish, so when I talk about it, I call it a kid. All right, and I do not know the equation. That is actually the main question, is what is the equation? I don't know that yet, but I do know what to do to it just for my notes. I know that I am going to do -y. So I'm going to take my XY chart, and I'm going to do -y. Well, if I'm going to do -y, then I'm not doing anything to my x's, so I'm just going to leave them. And you don't have to do -y. You could do like -3y. It doesn't matter, just a negative number in front of your y. All right, so then that's -2, -1, 0, -1, -2. Then I'm going to go on my paper, and I'm going to graph these points, the kid. Okay, so -2, -2. So you can see the whole thing. There we go. -2, -2. -1, -1. 0, 0. 1, -1. And 2, -2. Okay? And then I connect them in an absolute value shape. And you can keep going, or you can stop it however far you want. It's a little off. Then I'm going to pick a color. Choose red. I'm going to neatly color it. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to my notes. And I'm going to say, all right, this is the red one. So I'm going to put a dot out here out of the margin. Okay, and then I got to figure out the equation of the line. Or of the curve, I mean. Okay, it is not y equals mx plus b. You cannot use equation of lines on this. All right, so now I'm going to look at my notes because I'm going, okay, well, I've got a -y, or I have a reflection across the x-axis. So now I'm going to look at my notes for that list we made, okay, of what happens. So these are a bunch of examples. Oh, there it is. Parent function organizer notes. All right, x is horizontal, y is vertical. Flip across the x-axis. And what do we have here? See that negative? Now remember, this is the parent, okay, which I don't have an orange, but anyway, that's the parent. That should be circled also. But see the thing? The negative. The negative goes on the outside of the function. It's the same as what you think. So we just stick the negative right outside the original function. So I'm going to stick a negative. So it's going to be y equals negative, and then the original function, absolute value of x. Okay, and then I'm going to box that in my red, just so my teacher knows that that is the picture of what is there. Okay, see? There it is. There's reflected, and then there's my equation. That answers the main question. And that is the requirement of the picture. All right? So this is super important. So I'm going to hold it here for a second, and you should pause it, and you should copy this down. If you did not, that's supposed to be circled in orange also. The orange is the parent function thing. So that's not, what you're going to concentrate is it on the inside or is it on the outside, the change. Okay? All right, number in front or number inside, right? Okay. And then, yeah. All right, and so then that's one of the things, and then you're going to go through and you're going to do this same idea to the negative x's, but then you're going to have to look at your formulas, this table, to help you figure out what that actually means for the main equation. All right? Okay, I hope that helps. Bye-bye.